Hello everybody, San here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, we are talking about CRISPR, the fruit papaya, and how this article here matters. And of course, this is an article published from a university in China, or a couple of universities in China, at least a few institutions, but it is from China. And I've said this many times in this channel in the past, but China is one of those countries that are doing a lot of work in the genomic space, specifically with CRISPR. I think Chinese folks have realized the power of CRISPR, and of course being ruled under a CCP type of government where it's more of a dictatorship as opposed to a democracy that we're sort of used to in North America, for example, or in Europe. They can maybe get away with a couple of things without the red tape that, for example, a institution in Canada or in US have to go. Nonetheless, here, this was published around end of April, and it's about the papaya is a popular fruit, topical fruit, high commercial value due to its nutritional, medicinal, and industrial properties. However, conventional breeding methods for papaya has several limitations. Right, so there's basically a scarcity of natural genetic resources in the Carica genus, and of course the sexual incompatibility among closely related species. To overcome these challenges, particle bombardment, agrobacterium mediated transformation, polym 2 mediated transformation have developed for generating genetically modified papaya with the desired traits over the past 3 decades. These transformation methods have been successfully employed to improve papaya's resistance to biotic and abiotic stress, fruit quality, and even to produce edible vaccines. Notably, papaya ring spot virus resistant transgenic papaya is the first successful commercial application for genetic engineering technology in a fruit crop. Recently, CRISPR-Cas9 mediated genome editing technology and viral vector-based gene delivery system have emerged as promising tools for papaya genetic improvement and functional genomic studies in papaya. Genome editing will open a new era of precision breeding for papaya. This review aims to highlight the past and recent gene transformation methods and their application in papaya breeding, as well as future perspectives and challenges in improving papaya via genetic engineering. So basically the whole article here, the whole research paper lies on a promotion of genome editing, specifically with CRISPR-Cas9, to basically do what they've tried to do in recent decades, and it's basically to have more papaya, better quality, and basically have them resistant to virus, to bacteria, to abiotic stresses, environmental issues, and of course here they're talking about the specific gene that's really resistant to whatever they're trying to do, right? So for example, if they're trying to keep a particular insect away, this is the gene that they want to introduce, right? And we know in this channel CRISPR-Cas9 is perfect for that, right? And obviously I'm not going to go through this whole article here because it's quite a lot of technical details specific to the papaya fruit, their specific genes. But the idea here, and that's what I wanted to promote here in this video, is that you can actually look at precision breeding to maybe, which is basically another word for genome editing, the specific genes of the Carica papaya fruit. And basically you can have more papayas, you can have better quality of papayas, you can have them resistant to insects, to bacteria, to fungal, to viruses, and all sorts of reasons to why you could have an issue with your papayas, right? And I think that's just amazing. That's amazing. I've talked about this in the past, where agriculture is one of those things in CRISPR that, in my opinion, in the next year and 2, 3, 4 years, it's gonna take off in the agriculture space, right? So this is pretty big. Very bullish on that. And speaking of agriculture, guys, I want to bring you guys to this article, working to bring you a CRISPR banana. And it's actually really, really interesting because I didn't know this, but it's quite interesting that in the 1950 there was like a outbreak in the Panama disease with bananas, and it looks like the Cavendish banana really surfaced out of that, being basically the most popular type of banana. Yeah, right. You look at 99% of the 50 million metric tons of banana that come to the market annually are a single genetic type, the Cavendish. Right. So it looks like this the whole banana market, right? When you go to grocery stores, when you're eating banana at home, or wherever you're getting your banana, they're really all what we call a Cavendish type of banana. And it's interesting, this sentence here. Unfortunately, the Cavendish has become the poster banana for monoculture misfortune. When a new soil carried fungal disease emerged called tropical race TR4, it hits major banana producers across Southeast Asia hard, and despite its enormous and expensive efforts to prevent spread of the conventional means, the multi-banana global industry is reeling. I like this word, reeling. So this is where CRISPR comes into play, right? Because now with CRISPR, and there's already a couple of startups that are ventures are sort of investing in this and looking into this. But what if you can actually modify all these bananas, again, Cavendish bananas, all these bananas to be TR4 resistant? What happens when all these bananas are now resistant to this fungal disease that emerges here and there? What happens? And I think that is the key of agriculture overlapping with CRISPR-Cas9, for example. Because this is when you can leverage CRISPR to tackle a serious problem that affects not just financial side of things in locations like South Asia, but we're looking at malnutrition. We're looking at food shortages around the world. We're looking at more expensive foods around the world because you have these diseases, right? There was a story I remember earlier this year with eggs. Eggs for like 2 weeks, they started, doubling almost in prices in US and Canada, especially in Canada, just for 2 weeks, right? And then things got back to the normal side of things. But the reason why it went almost double pricing for like 2 weeks is because there was a huge disease outbreak in one of the in a few largest farms in the US, and in Canada. We get some of the largest exporters of eggs from the US. I think that was the story. I may be wrong with my details here, but the point here is that there was a disease outbreak that led to eggs being more expensive. But what if you can actually make those chickens produce eggs that are resistant to some of the more popular diseases that can wipe out so many eggs at the same time? Same exact story for these bananas. CRISPR will obviously not eliminate every single disease for the rest of the future, maybe in, I don't know, 5-10 decades. But in the nearby future, what if you can actually eliminate some of these popular diseases so you can have more bananas in the market? You have less expensive bananas in the market. You can tackle malnutrition. You can tackle food shortages. And I think that's the same story with bananas, with papaya, whereas this research study shows it's the same exact story, right? You look at a specific gene you want to tackle. First step is to recognize what is the gene, which is, for example, what this table is telling you from past researches. And then the second step is to establish a process to use CRISPR, for example, CRISPR-Cas9, ex vivo, for example, or in vivo, doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but for the purpose of this exercise here, it doesn't really matter. The point here is that you're using some sort of form of CRISPR technology to tackle those genes, to make it improve its shelf life, to make it more resistant to diseases, to insects or to fungal and whatnot, right? To basically increase the quality of these fruits, legumes, vegetations, right? This is why agriculture is huge for CRISPR, right? It's something to be reminded of, and that's why in this channel I make videos here and there about CRISPR and agriculture, because I think it's important, especially with the Chinese institutions looking into these types of paper. I mean, it's telling you something, right? I mean, there's so many billions of people that have, that don't have the access of foods that, for example, North America folks have, right? Or in Europe, right? I mean, this is something to be said, guys. So hopefully you guys appreciated this video. As always, subscribe if you're not. Like this video if you found value. And let me know, guys, what do you guys think about agriculture, genome editing, specifically with CRISPR. See you guys in the next video. Thank you.